How's it going, everybody? It's Paulie. So I got a pretty special sketchbook that I want to share with you guys today. It's a really special sketchbook because it's been around with me for a long while now. I got this sketchbook around my freshman year of high school, so around like 2017, 2018, I believe. You know, this sketchbook has been around with me since high school, some amount of college, some schooling in college, as well as me getting married just recently, past November. So yeah, this sketchbook is really special to me, with, you know, carrying so many years of my life. By the way, this is the verse of the day. And let's get started. So I kind of want to get into why it took me so long to complete this sketchbook. And then later I'll give a little secret as to how I went about finishing this sketchbook and what helped me to unlock the drive to complete this sketchbook. So first off, as you saw here, this sketchbook is a Stillman and Birn sketchbook. The reason why I got this sketchbook when I was so young is because I was a big fan of Draw with Jazza. If you've been here on YouTube, specifically the art side of YouTube, you definitely recognize that name, Draw with Jazza. Now it's just Jazza. But I used to watch his character creation videos all the time, and he would always bring up the Stillman and Birn sketchbook series. And so I got this sketchbook because of his recommendation and everything. So yeah, you'll see with these two pages, as well as this one right here, not too much going on. You know, we got the beginner's first page being left blank, you know, as well as, you know, just one little illustration not being filled with much. I used to do a lot of hands, or I'd try and get better with hands, so I just draw my own. And during that time as well, during freshman year, I would only use Copics for a lot of the coloring that I would do, both for illustrations and within my own sketchbook. I do commissions with Copics as well, so that's what, you know, these two illustrations are. And these are, yeah, 2017, 2018. So fast forward in just a bit, I believe this is 2019, where I start to, you know, play with paint and everything. I want to say this is, yeah, getting closer towards COVID. So around that time, I was lent a iPad that my one teacher gave me. Was like, you know, have at it. And so I took that opportunity to paint a lot on Procreate. But at the same time, I still wanted to, with all the free time going on during COVID, right? I still wanted to try and like explore, you know, acrylic and traditional paint. You can see some watercolor right here. But yeah, these were other paints that I used from my other teachers as well. So COVID was definitely a time for exploration within this sketchbook for me. Now, this piece right here is a redraw of a painting that I did of myself that I did in 8th grade. I did two of them. One was monochromatic, the other was dichromatic. This one being a redraw of the monochromatic one, right? So yeah, I did this back in like around 2021, 2022. And so, you know, you can kind of see a theme now of like, you know, there being a couple years in between me working from the next little illustration or painting in this sketchbook. But yeah, I'll put the redraw of the digital sketch that I did right here. So what I did was I sketched myself out in Procreate. I printed out this illustration onto a piece of copy paper. I then did like a graphite transfer where, you know, I put a bunch of graphite on the back of the piece. And then what you do is you just go over it with a pen, you know, go over those lines, and then the graphite transfers onto the painting, as you can kind of see. So yeah, that's what I did here. And I really like how this came out. Although it isn't super clean or anything like that. I really like how this came out. So just getting more acclimated with traditional painting. And you'll see a lot of that here. This is a space to play, you know. And it kind of brings me to this point that I wanted to make in this video, which was here. Maybe it'll be best if I illustrated on a nice piece of paper with a nice, very expensive marker. I know my younger self would kill me for doing this, but just brings the point home. I know, I've been told many times before that my penmanship is atrocious, but what it says is don't be so precious with your art materials. What I had to learn for myself was a lot of the time I'm not growing as fast as I could be because I was too precious with my sketchbook. I know I would never let my then girlfriend, now wife, do this before, but it just further cements that point of like, I didn't want this to be too precious. I didn't want my sketchbook to be too precious to the point where there could be faults in it that, you know, every page had to be a masterpiece. I didn't want to have that. I didn't want to have that mindset anymore. And so this was around the time of me going to school at my local college. I was in an art class, and I had this amazing painting professor who allowed me to paint whatever I wanted because this is my second class with him. And so while I was working on these two big pieces, you may be familiar with them on the channel. It's the Where's the Money Going paintings. With these next couple of pieces, this is around 2022, 2023, I took to just painting portraits, you know, no matter how sloppy they were, no matter how unneat or pristine they were. I just wanted to get better at painting and getting better at the medium that I wanted to get better at, right? So these are acrylic portraits. You know, I found these portraits off of Pinterest. Some of them you'll see are from Earth's World. Yeah, so this all came from a wanting to just get better at painting, right? And I had to let go of how precious like the materials were, the paper, just like, you know, only saving these pages for like the best of work and everything like that. And some of my most prized paintings I feel like are in this book, or at least like some of my favorite moments of painting, some of my favorite brushstrokes and shapes that I've been able to capture with paint have come from letting go of that sentiment of everything having to be precious. So I would definitely recommend, like, if you have nice paper or nice materials, just have at it, you know. To give a little spiel about these, this is a portrait I did with ballpoint pen as a base, and then I painted over it with a series of different references. This is Raekwon the chef, painted him. And like I was saying, just, you know, this isn't pristine. This isn't like super nice, and that's what I want every sketchbook to be. I want it to be a visual diary of how I became a fantastic visual storyteller, right? As much of a fantastic storyteller as I can be. And each painting, with each new page, I get to explore. I get to become better. I get to just grow and learn and even fail, you know. Some of these are failures, but I am just appreciative that I was able to paint, that I was able to take the time to just learn and put paint to page. All right, next up, got a little note here. Very interesting. Anywho, got some more portraits going. This guy is from Earth's World. This is my wife. You'll see a lot of portraits of her in here. Some of which she may not want me to show you. But yeah, we got another one here. Just experimenting with, you know, new medium for me. A lot of these other portraits were done in acrylic. This was acrylic, this is gouache. This is acrylic, this is acrylic. But yeah, just going back to that whole precious point, this was also gouache. Like a few things going on in here, but you know, there's always more time to grow. Yeah, a lot of these are both acrylic and gouache, just trying to get better at both. I'm much more proficient with acrylic than I am with gouache. I'm still learning gouache, but yeah. This little guy right here, he has a little story too. So I actually painted this guy first in Procreate, then took the gouache to see how well I can capture the same image with gouache. And this guy right here is just a little portrait I did with some leftover paint. One of my students left out. All right, so we got some portraits of Marcus Smart, who's an NBA player who plays for the Celtics. I'm not a sports guy at all, but I thought his story was really interesting. There was a recent little piece of controversy with him being traded over to the Grizzlies. It was interesting because you know, he has this trademark look to him where his hair is dyed green, and it was in honor of his mother passing and how she thought that Marcus Smart should do something cool with his hair, and so he dyed his. And so with him being traded to the Grizzlies, they put up a promotional pic of them colorizing his hair to be blue to match with the team jersey, and a lot of people thought it was like, you know, kind of disrespectful for them to do that because, you know, he dyed his hair because of his mother, not because of the team he was playing on. And so I thought his story was interesting. I wanted to paint a few portraits of him, you know, maybe make a piece on him one day and, you know, kind of highlight his story of why he painted his hair green and everything. But yeah, some more gouache studies. Just getting more and more familiar, and you'll see, so these are all within the span of 2023, 2024, and you'll see, you know, by the end of the sketchbook, I'll land on just screeching by with 2025. But the reason why I got more consistent within the sketchbook was because I let go of the sketchbook being precious and better embrace the fact that I can only get better with painting, specifically with gouache and acrylic, that I wasn't as familiar with other mediums that I'm much more comfortable with using. I better embrace the fact that I need to do as many studies as I can. I need to paint as much as I can with this medium in order for me to get better. So here's another portrait of my wife. This is around the time where I was getting ready to propose to her out in New York. I did this little study in gouache of her and her face. They're beautiful. These are little studies of outside of my parents' house. I would sit outside with my mom sometimes and just, you know, paint our backyard. These are compositional studies for a commission I'm working on. And then these are also compositional studies of still lifes that I'd like to get better at as well. And these are also done in gouache. So I'm also playing around and studying with gouache, you know, trying to get more and more familiar with the medium. You'll see these next couple of pages are just me trying to reiterate the same still life, but with either acrylic or gouache. I'll let you decide which one I'm better at. But this one over here is of, like, you know, a candle and a little vase or a little vessel, clay vessel. This was done in gouache. And this one right here was done in acrylic. I really like the texture that I achieved with, like, just layering the acrylic. Sorry for the sheen or the glare. But yeah. Then we got another still life set up, more complex shapes. This time it was acrylic versus markers, some cheaper markers. Just trying to, you know, capture the shapes of the scene, you know, capture the different textures. I didn't do as well with the acrylic this time. I think I was using like leftover paint. Got a little muddy there, but I like the shapes in the marker drawing one. And then here we have some studies of some clouds. I really love the texture and just how much you can play with clouds, and, you know, the shapes you get, the color, the vibrancy. It's awesome. Once again, I think I'm, like, you know, using leftover paint from either a session of portrait painting or whatever else. But here we got, like, you know, strong emphasis on turquoise, and then like some pinks and yellows and oranges in here. Same goes for over here. But yeah, I love how abstract you can get with shapes when describing like clouds. It's really fun. You get the texture of the brush strokes in there too, to emphasize and describe form. It's awesome. Right here we have a failed attempt of painting Nat King Cole. With this piece, I used, once again, some leftover black and yellow acrylic paint. And then I finished the rest of the drawing with my trusty chisel tip little marker right here, along with my ivory Posca pen. Just did the highlights with that. Some of these purple marks you see are with this purple Pigma Micron brush pen. We got some more studies done with gouache over here. Both of a still life scene that I'd like to portray in a bigger acrylic piece. Right over here, a failed attempt of doing a portrait of No Big Deal, a Christian rap artist. Tried to fuse two different, portraits that he took of himself, and they didn't end up so hot. But hopefully you could see how more of an emphasis on wanting to get better and just playing around towards the end of this sketchbook, rather than all the way back here where there's years and years between. Like I said, this was done 2018. I want to say this is 2017. This is 2023. Then we got 2024 over here. And now we're here at the tail end of 2024, beginning of 2025. So when I got to here, I saw that there was two sheets left with 4 pages. And so what I did was I wrote down face, pose, hand, and still life. And so I was like, what am I gonna fill these 4 pages up with, right? And recently, during that time, got married and everything. And so I took to illustrating the photos, the wedding photos that my wife and I had. So I painted my beautiful wife to varying success. But this portrait right here was a mix of gouache, just trying to get better at gouache. There's pen in there, there's pen strokes. There's, using this Sharpie paint marker. And all types of other media, but just painting my wife here. Then we have this scene of us. This is when we kissed each other to seal the deal. But yeah, she loves Princess Tiana, and she's the real life Princess Tiana. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, so I had to add that green flare in there and the wisps around us. So I just finished these illustrations today, the day you're watching this. And this is her hand with her ring there on my chest. But yeah, I wanted to paint these. And all right, so that's sort of the end of the sketchbook tour. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with calling this done. I mean, I was thinking about finishing this last page with doing a portrait of her ring, but duty calls to a few other projects that I got going on. But if you guys want to see me finish this last page of this sketchbook, let me know in the comments below. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed the sketchbook flip through, sketchbook tour. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.